Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket for Monday, the 7th of March. Today on the show, more fascinations on the way, fat Deku beats, and an industry update. Alright, here's what's been making headlines. Team Secret has won the Dota 2 Shanghai Major. They beat fellow European squad Team Liquid 3-1 in the best of 5 grand final and took home $1.1 million US. US team Evil Geniuses, my boys, came in 3rd and South Korean team MVP Phoenix placed 4th. While the tournament certainly suffered from poor production quality and some bafflingly uncouth PR from Valve and Gaben in particular, the pro players managed to stay focused and put on some world-class Dota. GG Team Secret. But moving on to more important news, Bear Simulator developer John Farjay may be abandoning his cub. As a first-time developer, Farjay.com managed to score $100,000 US in crowdfunding support, and he rode that wave of success through Steam Greenlight and onto the main store where the game can now be purchased. However, because of negative responses after launch, including getting smashed by the Pewdmeister himself, Farjay.com updated the game's Kickstarter page, stating, "Making any updates or going further is basically a lost cause now, plus not skilled enough to make the game better than it currently is or write better updates than previously. Also, don't want to deal with the drama anymore." While the game is technically complete, if Farjay.com does abandon the game, one of the Kickstarter stretch goals will be left unmet. The too long didn't read on that press release, "I've never done this before. Why did you give me all your money? Love, Farjay.com." Moving on, and Assassin's Creed 2 has been greenlit. The movie, that is. Hollywood Insider website The Tracking Board is reporting that production studio New Regency is moving forwards with a sequel to the Assassin's Creed film, which is due out in December. Apparently, Michael Fassbender and a host of production teams are on board for the sequel, which is a promising show of confidence in the series. But Tomb Raider got a sequel, and Resident Evil got 4. The final 2 Battleborn characters were revealed over the weekend. Macho wrestler El Dragon and Dr. Robotnik ripoff Cleese round out the 25 playable characters who will launch with the game on the 3rd of May. And a new world record has been set in Spelunky. Speedrunner DT has completed the fastest ever any % completion of the game with a run a touch over 1 minute and 40 seconds. His score is almost 1.5 seconds faster than the previous record holder, Spelunky God. God is dead. All hail DT. And moving on now, it's Thing of the Day. Thing of the Day. Musically inclined gamer Puppet Master 9 put his combined passions to work in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Puppet has been on a Twitter spree, posting a series of Deku Link renditions of popular songs. Thing of the Day. Alright, now it's stats time, where I'll be talking through what's selling in Australia and what is coming out this week. First up are the MPD numbers for the week ending February 28th. Bearing in mind these numbers do not include digital sales, which is weird because it's 2016, but whatever. The number 1 game that week in Australia was Far Cry Primal. So congratulations to an extended Far Cry 4 side mission for being the number 1 game in Australia. Number 2 on the list, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. If there was a shooter I could get into, it would be one with flowers, so I'm happy with this. And number 3, Bravely Second, End Layer. So this is a 3DS game, again in the top 3 for 2 weeks in a row, which is nice. Last week it was Pokemon, this week it's the worst titled sequel in recent memory. But it is nice that all 3 of the top games are new releases, knocking off Call of Duty. Take that, Call of Duty! And speaking of Call of Duty, it came in at number 4. Number 5 was Grand Theft Auto. Number 6 was Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Number 7, Lego Marvel Avengers. Number 8, Uncharted, Nathan Drake Collection. Number 9, FIFA 16. And number 10 was last week's number 1, Street Fighter V. Oh, how the mighty have fallen once they realized that Capcom forgot to put in half the game. Dropping off the list this week are Rainbow Six Siege and Naruto Shippuden, which is good because I never need to say that game name again, unless it makes the list again next week, in which case, stop buying that game, Australia. Also new to the NPDs is the list of the top selling games in Australia for 2015. The top 3 physical games across all platforms were number 3, Star Wars Battlefront, number 2, Fallout 4, and number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. There's a link to the top 100 sellers in the description, and it was actually a really good year for the industry here in Australia. The Interactive Games and Entertainment Association announced that year over year there was a 15% growth over 2014. Interactive Entertainment brought in $2.83 billion on our shores for the year. The biggest growth sector was digital sales, which rose 27% to $1.5 billion, surpassing physical retail's $1.2 billion haul. There was still growth in physical though, with a 2% increase. Alright, here's what's coming out this week. Now keep in mind this is not a full list, this is just games that have a bit of a higher interest for us. And we'll start with releases for today, March 7th, nothing. Moving on now to March 8th, which will see Alpha Beats on PC. There's a couple of games being ported across to PS4, Action Hank and Colat. Now Nick's tips for beating Colat: 1, check your map often. 2, be confident in your map reading. 3, you're wrong. 4, you're lost. 5, you're dead. Also coming out is a little game called The Division. You probably haven't heard of it. This is the new Tom Clancy game, so maybe mark that indie title in your diaries for tomorrow. Finally coming out on March 8th, Shardlight for PC. But moving on to March 9th, which is where the really juicy stuff is, Casey Powell Lacrosse 16. Now, I've never heard of this Casey Powell guy, but I assume he's the kind of person who can sell lacrosse games to people who love both lacrosse and video games, which is Venn diagram, I feel like, is this. Looks like this. So good luck, Casey. The Guest is coming out on March 10th, and there are a few games coming out for PC on March 11th, with Moon Hunters, Upwards Lonely Robot, and WWE 2K16, along with the first chapter of Hitman for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I don't know how much of Hitman we will be getting, but I look forward to playing it, and then complaining that it ended too soon. And finally, on March 11th, Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition drops for Xbox One and PC. Ori and the Blind Forest was one of my favorite games of last year, and if you haven't played it, the Definitive Edition adds some fast travel, a few new mechanics, and most importantly, checkpoints for the Ginzo tree. And if you've played Ori and the Blind Forest and you gave up halfway through, the Ginzo tree is where you gave up. So it is a week packed with releases. What would you like to see us play on Pocket? There is a link in the description to a straw poll where you can vote for your favorite game. Keeping in mind, we have removed The Division though, because I will be streaming it at some point this week, and I've already played it on Good Game as a first look, and if you really loved me, you would have already seen it there. All right, that's it for today's episode. My Pocketeers! Let us know in the description what you would like for a talk through tomorrow, and while you're there, check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at GoodGameTV, follow Pocket at NichBoy, at Pierreth, at GGEditMonkey, and at SamG. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Joel Eber92, or Joe Lieber92, or Joe Elber, or J Oliber. One of those. If you've made a thing, please send it in. Until tomorrow, NichBoy out.